Welcome back, folks. Today we're going to talk about a race you don't want to win. Welcome to the Intentional Success Podcast, where we unpack the top strategies, explore business trends, and drill down into best practices to help your live events production business grow and scale on purpose. I'm your host, Tom Stimson. I've been a little disturbed lately. I mean, more than my normal level of being disturbed or being touched in the head, as some of you will point out. But I've been a little disturbed by the resurgence of the phrase, the race to the bottom. The race to the bottom is that commoditization of our products and services where everybody is selling on price, or at least our perception is that everyone is selling on price. And so our customers are asking us to sell on price, which is anathema. That is not how we define value. This is not who we are. I thought we got rid of all of this. Oh my God, the sky is falling. We're in the race to the bottom again. Well, okay. Yeah, we might very well be in the race to the bottom again. But the problem is not that people are selling on price. The problem is we're allowing customers to perceive us as a commodity. And we're not a commodity. Commodity is corn, oil. We are not a commodity. We're in a service industry. Oh, except rental is a commodity. Oh, I forgot about that. Well, let me touch on that again in just a minute. So this idea that we're a commodity, that there's a race to the bottom on price, that we're not giving customers anything else to choose from besides price, is in fact a self-inflicted wound. We have done it to ourselves. If we just go back and look at our numbers in 2019, record-breaking revenue and some of the worst profit percentages I've ever seen in my career. You know, anybody could sell if they could just lower their price. And the fact, even in spite of the fact that there was so much demand, we had created so much supply that prices dropped and margins dropped. Now, the whole point of, the takeaway from the pandemic and what I've been teaching for the past 4 years as a result of all this, 5 years, is that we had an opportunity to reset our definition of value. And not everybody follows me, right? Not everybody gets it. Sometimes your customers are going to find people who are not as sophisticated as you are. And yet it really hurts when they buy from someone else, even though you know that other company's not going to give them what they need. And I know it hurts. I mean, you wanted the job, you need the business. I get all of that. You just weren't willing to lower your price. So there's the problem. Okay. We have a clientele that has a perception of value, and we have your perception of value, and we're not getting these two things to work together. So it's not their fault. It's not just your fault. It's not your competitor's fault. However, you're the only one who can do anything about it. Customers are going to be who customers are. Competitors are going to be who competitors are. How can you change what you're doing? So self-inflicted wound, we present ourselves. We really haven't changed that much about how we present ourselves. I look at proposals every week, and they do look a lot like the proposals before. Maybe they're finished a little bit better, prettier pictures, rarely fewer words. We keep finding more words to put in there. So it's not just what the customer thinks, it's what we think about ourselves. So in this conversation about commoditization and the race to the bottom, we also have to remember this is not just about price. I mean, you can be the least expensive company on any given day, and you can still be high value, even though you perceive yourselves as being very inexpensive on that day. On another day, you might be more expensive, but maybe you might not be as good of a value, right? There's a constant balance on this. If you think you can get the same price for your services every single day, if you just find the right customers, you don't understand microeconomics at all. Heck, you don't understand macroeconomics at all. We don't have control over this. You're never going to be all things to anyone if you don't understand how pricing works, which means you will have to understand how to present yourself relative to your price, which is what defines value, right? So the point of today's podcast is going to be stop creating a commodity vibe. How to stop looking like somebody who is going to sell on price, or that price can be the deciding factor. You can still be the lowest price and win the job without looking like you're a commodity. Why do we look like we're a commodity? The number one reason we look like a commodity, if I look at 100 proposals, 99 of them are going to have the word rental prominently displayed throughout that proposal. We are going to rent you equipment. Here is our rental rate. Here is the rental price. Here is the rental multiplier. Here is your rental discount. This rental is good for. Okay? It's all over there. Rental is a commodity. I can shop rental. Why do you think customers want line item pricing? They want your rental pricing so they can go look at somebody else's rental pricing. If you're going to rent a rototiller from Home Depot, you probably should go look at renting one from Lowe's so that you can compare the two prices, because in that context, it's a commodity. Now, if you want to hire somebody to till your half-acre garden, that's a service. What does it cost you to till a half-acre garden? Well, I don't know. Can you till it well, or can you till it poorly? If you can till it well, it's a service, in which case you might spend more money and get better results, or you might buy better and find somebody who can do it for less on any given day who will give you better results, or you can settle for poor work and pay next to nothing. Okay? This is how economics works, right? How do you position yourself? I will tell you right now, the number one problem we have in our live events, event production industry is the word rental. If you don't figure out how to get rental from leading everything you present. Did you mention rental once when you were meeting with the customer? Did you even say rental when you were talking about their production? And then you go back and you sit down at a computer and you fill out a form that says rental all over it. You print that form out, you present it to the customer in a proposal that has rental written all over it. And then you did one more thing that just really seals that commodity deal. You gave them terms and conditions that were written for a rental transaction that says the customer is responsible for taking possession of the equipment, getting security for the ballroom, all of these things that they have no control over most of the time, because it's a rental transaction and they're going to rent the equipment from you. The equipment never leaves your control. If the equipment never leaves your control, I mean, can your customer come down, open up the ballroom, take your audio console out, take it up to their hotel room and play with it? Oh, well, no, they can't do that. Well, then it wasn't really a rental, was it? Okay, if it was a rental and they possess the equipment, then of course they could do that. It would be their right and their privilege. But no, they're hiring you to put on a show. Okay, when you hire somebody to remodel your house, you don't get to go rummage around in their truck and find what cool tools they have and play with them, right? Stop being a commodity. Take the rental terms, take the rental words out of your proposals, take the rental terms and conditions out of your proposals, and write a consulting agreement for the services that you're going to provide with clearly defined outcomes. And stop itemizing stuff. Okay? It's okay if the customer asks for something's itemized, but there's a difference between explaining what it is you're going to do and giving you the parts and pieces that you're going to show up with. When somebody says, I want to know, I'm buying a door for a car, I'd just like to know that the window is included. Can you send me the parts list? Well, I could send them the 600 item parts list that goes into all the parts that goes into building a car door, or I could just answer the question that this includes all the mechanics and materials for a window that goes up and down with the push of a button. Okay, that will plug into your wiring harness to control it. Okay. You can write a better proposal and preempt a lot of these demands for itemization. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't commodity buyers out there. I can't change that. I can change your response to them. Okay. And I know I've made some success when my clients say, when somebody asks them, well, what do you do when your client asks for an itemized proposal after you've given them this lovely scope of work agreement? They say, well, they want line items? I'll send it to them. I'll print that entire sheet out. Oh, 15,000 items are on it, and I'll send them a 28-page PDF. And then I'd never ask for it again. When I reach that point, when I know my clients reach the point where they can shrug off that request because they know it's not going to drive their price down, and it's just a request that they can fulfill with the push of a button. It may be passive aggressive to send them a 28-page detailed prep sheet instead of maybe sending them the 5-page version of it, but that's okay. You be you. They deserve that. If they insist, they deserve it. Send them all the stuff. It doesn't matter. That doesn't alleviate you from the responsibility to your business for writing a proposal that conveys value without turning it into a rental transaction, which can be commoditized. And if the customer still wants to commoditize you, that's good information. You can take that information, go find better customers. Or you can sharpen your pencil, say, this is the job I want today. I'm going to give you a great deal today. All right? Understand how all of this works, but quit shooting yourself in the foot by sending out commodity vibes. Quit putting the number on your chest that says, I'm in the race to the bottom with everybody else, and say, no, I am here for you, the customer. I'm going to give you what you need. I'm going to give it to you at a fair value at today's price. What could be simpler than that? All right, get back in the race. Just make sure you're running the right race. Thanks for listening. If you want to find out more about today's episode, go to trstimson.com/podcast, where you'll find the show notes, related links, and tons of other valuable resources. If you haven't already subscribed to the Intentional Success Podcast, please do so, and I'd greatly appreciate if you would rate and review the show. Also, if you think you might be a good fit to work together or want more information about the Stimson Group, I'd love to hear from you. Visit trstimson.com for more information.